The woman had her body twisted inside an industrial mixer. Just moments ago, before starting the mixer each time, Laverne would attach the cage. But this small precaution irritated her supervisor, Raina. It seemed like a waste of time and a drag on efficiency, so she ordered Laverne to stop using the cage. Since employees' safety seemed insignificant in comparison, Laverne stormed out of the office, angry but determined to continue working. After adding the ingredients, she hesitated for a moment. Then, in front of the other employees, she reattached the cage. The other workers quickly followed her example, each one securing their cage. This act infuriated Raina.
Hold on. Let me show you how it is done. Step back. Now, if I need to add an ingredient or adjust anything, I can do it.
She picked up a cup of water to demonstrate, but accidentally dropped it into the mixer. Then Raina reached into the machine, and then disaster struck. Firefighters arrived quickly. Laverne said she shut off the machine immediately, but Raina was already unconscious. Her upper body caught inside the mixer. Though she was breathing, her pulse was rapid. The paramedic provided oxygen while firefighters dismantled the machine. After much effort, they managed to take it apart. But Hen noticed that Laverne's arm had been severed entirely. Fortunately, the dough had stopped the arterial bleeding. Hen wrapped the dough around the wound, and then they lifted the woman onto the stretcher. At that moment, Raina was filled with deep regret.
It's not your fault. I was pushing the numbers.
It's Raina, it's okay.
No, you should be supervisor, Laverne.
I'd heard of people getting stuck with fish bones, but never of someone getting their muscles stuck. At a bodybuilding competition, each contestant was showing off their physique, and this man was putting in the most effort. While others had moved on to display different muscle groups, he held his pose with intense effort, his expression resembling someone in deep discomfort. Suddenly, he let out a loud roar. His muscle was stuck. The rescue team arrived promptly. Paramedics determined that the issue was due to low blood sodium, and immediately asked when he last had water. It turned out that in an effort to shed weight and make his veins pop, he hadn't had any water for a full day. This had led to a serious deficiency of potassium and sodium, necessitating an urgent electrolyte replenishment. The captain asked if he'd been taking any performance enhancers. After a moment's hesitation, the man claimed he hadn't used steroids. Then the captain noticed a reporter recording the incident, and immediately understood what was going on. He politely asked the reporter to leave, then continued advising the man. He warned that if he had been taking any enhancers, injecting saline could potentially lead to kidney failure. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the man finally admitted to using steroids and even diuretics to reduce body water.
Help! We need a doctor's help!
Is that your blood? Are you hurt?
She's in our truck and she's not moving! Come on!
No way.
Is she dead?
Michael, this is a hospital, and I'm a people doctor.
Can you save her?
Michael.
She opened her eyes. Look, she's still alive.
Oh, God, don't look at me like that.
Please. Please.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm gonna need a jumbo catheter, a 16-gauge needle, the biggest ambu bag you can find, and something that shapes fur. Okay, we got a 150-pound female with
Lacerations on the chest and haunches, short, fast breaths. Any recommendations?
Please don't let her die.
Michael, we're gonna take her home and skin her and freeze the meat.
Why?
Because that's what you do. You don't try and save them, you eat them.
Circulatory system of a deer?
Shut up. Hey, Dr. Bailey, you wouldn't happen to know anything about the anatomy of a deer?
You like hamburgers, don't you?
Yeah.
And spaghetti with meatballs and lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
That's beef. That's cow you're eating, son.
What do you mean?
I need to get in here.
Sorry.
Yeah. Her eyes are glassy. We're losing her.
This is absolutely childish and ridiculous.
Your son just wants to believe that some things can work out for the best.
She's in B-fib. I'm gonna shock. Charge at 300 and stand back. Okay, clear. Oh my God! Oh my God, she's alive!
Can you imagine someone gaining this much weight? Did you think it was all fat? It turned out to be a massive tumor. A man named Kenny had a tumor that weighed over 100 pounds. His greatest wish was to have it removed by Dr. Murphy, but the chief of surgery, who held prejudice against Murphy's autism, had transferred him to the lab, barring him from participating in surgeries. The hospital didn't want to miss this rare case though. They agreed to treat Kenny for free if it could be used as a teaching case, broadcasting the entire procedure. During a pre-surgery exam, doctors discovered the tumor was growing too quickly, gaining an additional 20 pounds in just a week. The blood vessels inside were as thick as a thumb. If they attempted to remove it, Kenny could bleed to death mid-surgery. Despite the risks, Kenny insisted on the surgery.
I don't care how risky it is. I'd rather die in surgery than continue to live with this huge damn tick sucking the life out of me.
He desperately wanted a normal life. At this moment, Claire suggested a solution. They could tie off the largest blood vessels on the tumor beforehand, using Kenny's own clotting factors to help block the blood flow. This could reduce bleeding during the surgery. Hearing this, Kenny was filled with hope.
And yes, you should. Yes, as soon as possible.
The preparations were made and the surgery began, but without Dr. Murphy's involvement, could they succeed? A petite woman faced off against a large man, attempting to see who could finish a 96-ounce steak first. Yet she never thought this challenge would cost her life. Just moments ago, at the annual eating contest finals, she competed for the title of a lifetime of free meals and the honor of having her photo on the restaurant's wall of fame. The girl was unusually excited. With the manager's command, the contest began. The girl grabbed the steak and stuffed it into her mouth, instantly devouring large chunks of meat. Meanwhile, the man was still elegantly cutting his meat with a knife. Seeing her speed, he picked up his steak and started eating directly, not forgetting to taunt her afterward. The girl took bites of meat and sips of water, maintaining a strong lead over the man. The man struggled to keep up, even slapping his own face to boost himself, but his energy showed no improvement. The girl, on the other hand, was close to finishing her steak, having drunk plenty of water as well. She mocked the man as she ate, causing the crowd to laugh and cheer for her. Eventually, the man could no longer hold on. In front of the manager, he spat out the meat. The manager said, "You gotta eat every bite. Those are the rules." Reluctantly, the man tried to eat again, but he just couldn't swallow it, and ultimately gave up the contest. The girl triumphantly stuffed the last piece of meat into her mouth. But within 5 seconds of celebrating, she collapsed to the ground. Paramedics arrived quickly. Her stomach was bloated, making her look pregnant, and her heart was racing. The paramedics were puzzled until they saw the empty pitchers on the table. Upon asking the manager, they learned she had just drunk an enormous amount of water. The excessive drinking had led to water intoxication, putting immense pressure on her bladder, which was at risk of bursting at any moment. Michelle brought a catheter to help relieve her bladder manually, but the volume was overwhelming, and the bag was almost full in no time. Just then, the manager came to check, and right in front of everyone, the honored wall of fame was destroyed. Finally, the girl showed a look of relief. If someone offered you $500 and a monitor lizard, would you eat cockroaches? An unusual eating contest took place here, but the menu was all protein that monitor lizards love, like crickets and cockroaches. A man in a shirt reached his limit but kept pushing through.
That thing yours?
That's Claude. He's a grand prize.
Suddenly, he collapsed to the ground. Paramedics rushed in to check on him, found his airway was blocked. Using a bag valve mask, they managed to get his breathing back for a moment. And suddenly, he began spitting out crickets, alive and leaping everywhere. His pulse was fading and he went into VFib. Chinni immediately started CPR, while Hen reached in with pliers to pull out a revolting mass from deep in his throat. Moments later, he regained consciousness. To everyone's shock, began coughing up a swarm of living bugs.
All this for a lizard. A monitor lizard and $500.
Just then, a woman nearby began mocking the man's failed attempt, but she didn't get far before cockroaches started pouring out of her mouth, revealing that she had lost the contest too.
I guess you're staying